Hello everyone, Voodoo here, and today we are here with my Vengeance Demon Hunter class guide. Now, Vengeance is really good. It is the best spec in Mythic Plus this season. This video is a lot late. What can you say? But today we're going over talents, rotation, and like stats and gear and stuff like that for you to play Vengeance in Mythic Plus and Raid for Season 2 of The War Within. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Again, sorry this is so late, but we're pushing for 15,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I think we can get there. Goose is merping at me now, so it's time to get on to the video, and hope you guys enjoy. Hello everybody, so of course the first thing I do is talents. Now today, talents, there are a lot of different builds that you can play for Vengeance Demon Hunter, for both Raid and Mythic Plus. I'll be providing one for Raid and like 2-ish for Mythic Plus, as well as a few talent swaps. But a lot of talents, because it's a tank spec, have varying usage and niches. So there's a lot more depth here that I just like feel like it's too much to go into this video, unless this video is going to be an hour long. So I would recommend, the Vengeance Demon Hunter Discord is a great place. Wowhead has a lot of a write-up of like different talents, stuff like that, or just like checking out top streamers right now. Quan Beam, Itame, just like off the top of my head, like now Yoda, I guess, just like people playing the spec. There's a lot of different nuances and stuff like that for why people are playing certain talent builds. So I'm gonna recommend 3 here that are some that are good for beginners, some that are good for like kind of towards the upper end of player. But just remember that there are a lot of different talent builds and they're all honestly pretty good. Vengeance has a lot of build parity, which is great. So if there's something that's not recommended here, like the No Spirit Bomb build, I'm not going to recommend that, but that's something you can play as well, and I will touch on that. So just, want to let that out there that there's a lot of options for Vengeance, and not everything's going to get covered, just how it is. So first things first, Raid build. This is the Raid build. You can play Aldrachi Reaver, which would follow a very similar like clash tree. But realistically, like Fel-Scarred is going to be more single target damage. Burning Blades is crazy. They've honestly buffed Fel-Scarred coming into this tier for Vengeance, where Fel-Scarred last tier was the best. Sorry, this is Mythic Plus. What am I talking about? Here you go. This is the single target one. Whoops. This is the single target build. We're taking stuff like Soul Carver, which is a lot of damage, taking stuff like Dark Glare Boom, which gives you more Fel Devastations, which of course gives you more Demon Surges. You have the empowered stuff for Burning Blades, Still Flame stuff. It's just really strong. Not a lot to say here. You get a lot of mastery from Student of Suffering, gives you more Fury. More Fury is more Soul Carver. You get a lot of Burning Blade damage and a lot of Demon Surge damage. And then of course you have the Fire Amps for Fire Demise and Burning Blood. So really like a pretty nice synergistic package here. Your tier set gives you hunt resets. It doesn't really matter for this spec, but it does matter for Aldrachi, which we'll get to. But again, I wouldn't really play Aldrachi Reaver in raids. Fel-Scarred is just so good. If you're fighting multiple targets and you want Firebrand Cleave, you can drop Cycle of Binding for it. Pretty easy swap there. Otherwise, honestly, not like a ton of different things to swap out. Pretty cookie cutter build here, I think, at least in my opinion, for Raid. Now for Mythic Plus, this is going to be your highest damage build. So one of the things that's coming into the season is that Fel-Scarred was buffed. Demon Surge does do more damage now. Now, of course, it is soft capped at 8 targets. So in like fully uncapped scenarios, it does less there. But in most other scenarios, it does more. Burning Blades was buffed up. So Fel-Scarred does a lot more damage than it does in the past. And you also have like the damage proc from your tier set. So in lower keys, or if a player is newer, I think Fel-Scarred is going to be a better option for them. In a lot of higher keys right now, you're seeing Aldrachi Reaver. A lot of the highest players are playing Aldrachi Reaver, and that's because Aldrachi Reaver is better, playing to its full potential, but it is much harder. So if you're doing low keys, you're just picking up Vengeance, I would recommend playing Fel-Scarred. This build you have here is a pretty straightforward Fel-Scarred build. Nothing too crazy. We are taking Sigil of Chains, but I know a lot of people like to take it. If you don't want Sigil of Chains, there's a few options. You can put it into Extended Spikes just for more spikes coverage, Calcified Spikes for a little bit more damage reduction outside of spikes, or Painbringer. Although honestly, I wouldn't take Painbringer in this build. So Sigil of Chains is taken here. If you don't want it, you can take Extended Spikes. If you do want it, it is a stop, sorta. It can help group things up. Just make sure you don't sync up melees to kill yourself. But realistically, nothing too crazy with this build. Where things get absolutely crazy is with our Aldrachi Reaver builds. Before Aldrachi Reaver, there are a lot of options. Now what you see before you here is kind of a nice all-around build. We're taking Sigil of Chains, again, because people want it. You can drop that for Extended Spikes for more defensiveness, or Soul Furnace for more damage. Again, we're just taking chains here. And this is a nice kind of middle ground build. Now, there are a few like swaps you'll see a ton of people make, but this is a good build that I would recommend for players. Biggest swap here, if you want to cheat death, then drop Darkglare Boon for it. Darkglare Boon provides really nice damage, as well as more defensiveness, because you get more Fel Devastations, which gives you meta, and meta is, of course, where you are pretty unkillable. But if you want to cheat death, it's a nice fallback, a nice option to have. You can drop out Darkglare Boon for Last Resort to have a little bit worse defensive coverage, a little bit worse damage, but you have this ultimate fallback option where every 8 minutes, if you die, no, you ain't dying, you're actually popping your insanely strong defensive cooldown. So that's really good. There is also the possibility that people have started dropping Burning Alive. I wouldn't do that. Fiery Brand's a really powerful button. I don't know really why people are choosing to do that, but we're taking it, so there's that. Finally, there's also stuff going around about the no Spirit Bomb build, which drops these two and like picks up Scented Flame and Soul Furnace. The reason you do this is for more priority damage. If you're just picking up Vengeance, if you're not pushing 18s, 17s, and frankly, if you are, I don't know, hey, I don't know why you're watching this video, but I appreciate the view, then this build is viable for doing priority damage, but it is much harder to play. It is a much more niche. And if you don't do it properly, you're going to lose a lot of threat, you lose a lot of healing, lose a lot of damage. So I wouldn't recommend this, but that option is there. But realistically, you have like so many flex points. You can even drop a point in Painbringer for Soul Furnace if you want a little bit more damage at the cost of some survivability. Again, wouldn't do that. This is kind of a defensive build, but this is kind of like what a lot of people are timing keys with. Again, no Spirit Bomb build is there. I wouldn't really take it unless you're pushing the highest possible keys. And if you're pushing the highest possible keys, why are you listening to me? You know more about Vengeance than I do. So that's kind of the build situation. There's a lot of flexibility, a lot of options, and a lot of different scenarios where you want to use things. Again, if you want like a deeper dive into things, I would recommend going to the Vengeance Demon Hunter Discord. The guys there are super great. They've helped me out a ton, as well as the Wowhead guide has some information there written down kind of in depth. Or just checking out the Twitch streams people I mentioned earlier, just for like asking more in-depth questions or seeing what they're doing. With that out of the way, though, we will go on to rotation. The opener for single target will be Sigil of Flame followed by Infernal Strike, Immolation Aura, Fracture one time, Fiery Brand, Hunt In, then Soul Carver, then Fel Devastation, then Spirit Bomb, then Soul Cleave, then Sigil, then Meta, then Fel Devastation, then Sigil of Flame, Consuming Fire, build up to 5 souls, use Spirit Bomb again, then Soul Cleave at 0 souls, and from there you will proceed into the regular priority bracket. Outside of the opener, the rotation is honestly pretty straightforward, and you want to just use your buttons on cooldown. The Hunt has a very high priority because of the resets. Soul Carver has a very high priority, and from there you're basically just making sure you keep your debuff up on the target for Sigil of Flame, keep your Firebrand on the target whenever you have it available, and then don't cap on anything else. So in order of priority here, you want to use Fel Devastation, obviously. Proc your other things, do a 5 soul Spirit Bomb, and then just spend the rest of your Fury on Soul Carve. Realistically here, Immolation Aura to generate Fury, Sigil of Flame to generate Fury, and we're just soul carving so we don't overcap Fury. Whenever we're out of Fury, we're going to Fracture after that, just to build back up. Also, my character's geared for Havoc right now, so I don't have a ton of haste. So excuse me if things seem a little slow, it's because they are. Yeah, but this is basically just rotation for Vengeance Demon Hunter in single target. You want to Fel Devastation at 50 Fury. Boom, just like that. Again, we'll build back up here. Then we'll pop a Spirit Bomb at 5, and then a Soul Carver. And yeah, I mean, like, really, that's it, right? We're just building Fury with Fracture, using all of our abilities on cooldown as much as we can, and just spending all of our Fury that we have on Soul Carver, basically. Soul Cleave, basically, sorry. And that's it, right? Like, all of our damage is Soul Cleave based. We want to do that as much as we can. It gives us a bunch of fragility stacks, so it's pretty good in that sense. And yeah, I mean, like, you guys can see here, right? You can look down here if you need to see what buttons I'm pushing, but it's basically just Soul Cleave, like, the whole way home. So yeah, pretty simple stuff, pretty straightforward. For defensives, realistically, Vengeance works off of a offense first based system because most of your defensiveness comes from frailty stacks, basically. But if, you know, basically just don't overlap Demon Spike charges while you are actively tanking, and don't use Demon Spikes while you're in Demon form. You can save meta for a defensive moment if you need it. Otherwise, you can just use it on cooldown to get more damage from Fel Devastation. From Fel-Scarred. Same with like something like Fiery Brand or something like Fel Devastation. You can hold those if you want for a defensive option, but realistically, just getting them on cooldown is going to be a bit better. Generally speaking, like 15 seconds is the hold point, is kind of towards the upper end. If you do like 10 to 12 seconds, that's normally okay. But you really, for Fel-Scarred, you want to just be using things as much as you can, because it is a very offense-focused tank where you're turning your offensive pressure and offensive damage into stacks of frailty, into Painbringer, into vulnerability, which is more damage, into whichever one of these heals you. There you go, frailty, Void Reaver. So realistically, you just want to stack up as many stacks as you can, and you do that by just doing your offensive rotation. So here is your opener for the Mythic Plus Aldrachi Reaver build. Now the Fel-Scarred build plays the exact same in Mythic Plus. We're not going to touch on it, and honestly the Aldrachi Reaver build plays pretty similarly in single target, so hey, it is what it is, but this is where the primarily played. So when I jump in here, which I'm about to do, you would Spirit Bomb if you save stuff. Obviously we're doing a fresh rip here, so we don't have anything, but you do it. So Infernal Strike and Bomb if you have it. If not, we're going to Sigil of Flame as we jump in, Immolation Aura, then we're going to Hunt in, throw out a Reaver's Glaive. We're going to always Fracture into Soul Cleave in Mythic Plus. We're going to Fiery Brand, followed by Sigil of Spite, meta, Fel Devastation, then meta, then we're going to gain a little more souls, use a Spirit Bomb, and then go into air normal rotation. But from here, we're going to enter into the general priority. Now, again, for Vengeance Demon Hunter, it is a very offense equals defense focused tank. The more offense you do, the more souls you generate, which means the more shield you get from Incorruptible Spirit, the more healing you get, the more Painbringer stacks you get, but also the more frailty stacks you get, right? So it gives you more healing, gives you more damage reduction, and more damage dealt, as well as just more Feed the Demons reduction, right? So very offense focused. So in a lot of cases, you kind of don't want to hold your cooldowns, but you know, it can. So in Mythic Plus, the big difference is that we're going to priority our souls a lot more. So where in single target, it was more about dumping Fury into Soul Cleave. In Mythic Plus, it's all about building up to at least 4 souls and then ripping a Spirit Bomb. So your whole rotation is basically going to revolve around using Immolation Aura, using Sigil of Flame, using Fracture to generate souls. Use those 4 or 5 souls on Spirit Bomb, and then dump your Fury with Soul Cleave. That's kind of the general rotation. For Reaver's Glaive, you want to always Fracture into Soul Cleave in Mythic Plus. If you're fighting one target, you want to do Soul Cleave into Fracture. Pretty easy. And you want to throw it when you have 4 seconds or less of the Thrill of the Fight damage buff. So if we read this here, damage is healing by 15% for 10 seconds. So if that's at 4 seconds or less, or you don't have it, you'll throw one. Throw it out. Boom. Soul Cleave, Fracture into Soul Cleave. Boom, there we go. And now we have this dot ticking down. So now at this point, if I were to get another soul, another glaive charge by, you know, just kind of pushing buttons here until we get one. You get them pretty quick for Vengeance, because of course you generate so many souls. But again, you know, still have some downtime with it, just in general. Oop, there we go. Boom, we have another one. Okay, I don't have my buff, so throw it out. Boom, drop it, and there you go. Now again, this is a Havoc geared character at the moment because of raid prog, so I do have low haste. So that's kind of how you use Reaver's Glaive. Outside of that, it's literally just like rip all your cooldowns on CD. You want to hunt on CD because your tier set can proc it, right? Just to give you Reaver's Glaive. Only time you never do that is if you have a charge of Reaver's Glaive already available. Hunt will overcap it, which, you know, you don't want to do. Other than that, you know, Sigil of Flame on CD, Immolation Aura on CD. You want to keep up the debuff on your targets if you can. It's not going to be perfect coverage, although it is extended by Immolation Aura, so try and pair them whenever you can. Immolation Aura has such a short CD that should be very possible. And then obviously just Fracture up until you get 4 souls, spend them, go back down, Fracture again, 4 souls. We got our soul count, spend it, spend a Fury with Soul Cleave, don't cap on Sigil Flame charges. Pretty straightforward stuff. We're using Sigil of Spite and Hunt on CD. For Fel Devastation, Fiery Brand, and Meta, those are your defensives. Generally speaking, you do want to use these on on cooldown as well. The reason you want to do that is because you just don't want to lose charges. That being said, if you know something big and scary is coming up, you can hold something for like 10, 12 seconds and be fine. But over the course of a key, it's going to be better off for you to just use them as close to cooldown as you can. My game just hard froze. Hopefully we don't crash here. There we go. As close to cooldown as you can so that you get the most benefit from them. So really strong benefit with Fiery Brand, Fel Devastation, and Metamorphosis, right? Those are both offensive and defense cooldowns. So using them as much as you can is going to be a great just way of learning how to use them, right? Offense is your best defense. Aside of that, you know, keep Sigil Flame debuff up, and then keep Demon Spikes rolling. You generate enough souls, honestly, especially with Feed the Demon, that you should be able to keep spikes up like pretty high uptime. The one thing you want to do is you don't want to spikes if you're in demon form or have another big defensive rolling. You can see here I don't have another defensive rolling, so it's fine, but you have very high uptime of spikes because of all the souls you generate. So I'm not even playing super optimally, right? Like I'm talking through here, and we have pretty near like perfect uptime on our spikes, enough to basically get us back to Metamorphosis on this. So it dropped for like 1 second even, which is, you know, me with low haste, pretty good. And we also, of course, have calcified spikes. So defensively, it's really just like use things on CD, and whenever you don't have a big thing running, use your demon spikes and try and keep Sigil Flame up. For darkness, just use it as like a tank personal, try and overlap it with raid damage if possible. So recap for general priority: Immolation Aura on CD, Fiery Brand on CD, Sigil Flame if there's no debuff or you're at 2 charges, Spirit Bomb at 4+ souls, Soul Cleave to spend Fury, and then Fracture and Fellblade if you won't overcap on the things that generate, and then use the other offensive options on cooldown or to get the best defensive value. Next up is stats. Now stats for Vengeance Demon Hunter, pretty straightforward. In single target and Mythic Plus, the same thing. You want haste and critical strike as your number 1 and number 2 stats. They're pretty equal in terms of value, pretty interchangeable, so these are kind of what you want to go for. Versatility is also very, very good, and like your 3rd stat, but not by a lot. And then 4th is mastery. Mastery is not very good. You get a lot of it naturally as Fel-Scarred from Sigil Flame stuff, and it's just not a great stat for Vengeance. So it's kind of your dumb stat, which is unfortunate because Havoc loves it. But critical strike coming over from Havoc, very good there. Haste, very, very good. And then versatility and mastery. Next up is going to be gear. So we're going to start off with trinkets. So for trinkets, there are a few good options. In general, some really nice, like all-around option are the Tome of Light's Devotion from the Priory Dungeon, as well as the Improvised Sephorium Pacemaker from the Floodgate Dungeon. These are both very, very good, very, very good Mythic Plus trinkets as well, which is great. In Raid, Eye of Kazan can be very good as well because raid fights take a long time. I would not play this in Mythic Plus. It is not very good there, but in Raid is like a more all-around / damaging option. It's great. And if you want a defensive trinket that is purely defensive, Combustible Bomb Suit from Gallywix is insanely strong and is just very, very, very good for Vengeance. In terms of crafted gear, you want an Everforged longsword with a blessed weapon grip. You can use the glaive as well, it doesn't have any longsword, with critical strike and haste. And then you want to use either an Adrenaline Surge clasp or a rune branded waistband with the gem lasering focus thing. Those are going to be kind of your options. I would use the rune branded one, kind of like the gem focus thing, kind of in single target. Surge class, very, very good in Mythic Plus because you take a ton of damage that way, and who cares if you lose mastery. And then outside of that, the only other really important thing is a Jaster Diamond, going to be very, very strong. Our off piece is going to be your legs, and everything else just fill in with critical strike and haste. That's kind of the biz. As much haste as you can get, as much crit as you can get, and you are good to go. So to recap, trinkets, you want to pick up Tome of Light's Devotion, Improvised Sephorium Pacemaker, Eye of Kazan, and Combustible Bomb Suit. You want to craft an Everforged Longsword with a blessed weapon grip, as well as an Adrenal Surge clasp if you're more of a Mythic Plus player, or a Rune Banded Waistband with the Focusing Iris gem thing if you're more of a Raid player, and then also grab a Jaster Diamond. From there, fill out with Critical Strike and Mastery, with Pants being your off piece for your tier. And there we go, that's kind of it. Not really gonna go over consumables and stuff like that. Like, it's pretty straightforward. If you want to check that out, I would check out the Wowhead page, but it's like, you know, Primal Authority for your weapons, haste for everything else. Pretty straightforward stuff there. That's Vengeance. Vengeance is uber powerful this tier. It's crazy how strong it is, and it is kind of causing Havoc to be not as good because it's so strong, but hey, you know what it is. So hope this guide's helped you out a bit. Obviously I'm not a tank main, I do play Havoc more, but I do pick up Vengeance from time to time and I do enjoy it. Very offensive focused tank, which is pretty fun in my opinion. So I hope this has helped you guys out. If you have any questions, drop them below. I'll do my best to answer. But if you have any bigger questions, again, check out the Wowhead guide, check out the Vengeance Demon Hunter Discord, or go to some of those streams I mentioned. I also stream as well if you want to check that out. But if not, I appreciate you guys watching. Sorry this video is so late. Again, things just got busy. Vengeance was low on my priority list, but here it is now. So I hope you guys enjoyed. So like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. A big thank you to everyone watching my videos, but especially to my channel members. Thank you, Alexander Trifunovic, Rukaza, Fear Redefined, Loose Change, Jorge Polanco, Matthew Barr, Zuligan, Chocobo Merc, Gabriel Correa, Matchman 133, and Falafadar Dark Terror. Thank you so much to everybody. If you want to join and support me in making videos, consider following the link below. I will be adding more perks to this over the summer as I get more time, including log review, which isn't available right now. But again, I do appreciate everybody just supporting me and watching the videos. So I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Peace.